Hello, everybody. Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeet to the haw. And you may have seen some images being shown around about a massive update that is coming to Pokemon Pocket. It plans to be a huge change to the game. And the reason we know this is because some internal documents, it looks like, have been shared around on Twitter, like this one here from UniteVids, talking about the game business of Pocket and what they want to do in the future. Apparently, they're looking to make a huge change to the game. Now, there's no secret that Pocket is doing very well. Pokemon Pocket has made over $1 billion since it has been released. I think it's even more than that at this point. So let's take a look at what is being talked about here, what they plan on changing. And I want to give you my take on what actually needs to be changed for this game to have long-term success, because I think just because something is happening in the game doesn't mean that specific thing is what is going to fix it. I'll talk more about that here in a minute. Sorry for being a little vague, but let's talk about this doc. So this is talking about the game business for Pokemon trading game Pocket. Q1 2025, the average monthly active users for Q1 was approximately 39 million people, with about 60% of virtual currency consumption coming from international. That's us, by the way. Subscriptions continue to see steady demand. In-game events, new booster packs, and other updates are continuously released, providing enjoyment to a wide global audience. I'll talk more about this here in a minute. Current understanding and future actions. New user acquisition remains steady. That actually is surprising to me, because I do think the game is starting to get more and more daunting for a new user. The retention rate of existing users has declined compared to the initial launch period, and maintaining monthly active users is a priority. This is very, very important. We recognize initiatives to improve retention rate and login frequency, such as enhancement of collection experience, are key objectives. Based on this understanding, planning and developing for a major update are underway. Target release within this calendar year. Further details to be announced later. Okay, so many things that I want to unpack here, because I think there are some major things that could be happening to Pocket, some really good things for the community, and I hope over at Pocket they recognize the reason some of these things are happening. Just because there is a symptom doesn't mean that that is exactly what's going on, right? You know, if you have a cough, it's not that you need to treat that cough necessarily. You could have lung cancer. Well, I mean, we got dark there, but you know what I'm saying, right? It could be a bigger issue. I want to talk a little bit about a few of the things that they mention right here. New user acquisition remaining steady, I think, is very interesting. However, the retention rate has declined compared to the initial launch period for existing players. And I think there's a huge reason for this, and that is the fatigue of new sets. Now, this is also one of the reasons that new users might hop into the game, but you've got this really interesting thing to balance. You have to balance bringing new sets to the game, new exciting sets that are going to convince people to open up Pocket, download it, hop back into it if they haven't played it in a while. And you have to release things in such a way where current users don't feel clobbered by it. I mean, I'm a content creator for this game, so I have the luxury of opening a few $100s worth of packs every set. But that is not something that the normal person would be doing. And if you're not doing that, it could be difficult to get all of the cards you would like to use. And I think it's important for me to say all the cards you would like to use, because I think that's one of the biggest things that is never talked about with a situation like this. As we continue, we recognize initiatives to improve retention rate and login frequency, such as enhancement of collecting experience and key objectives. So, yes, this is great. It would be great for players to be able to collect cards easier. It would be great for new players to be able to hop in and more easily make decks. Now, I think the big thing that is not talked about throughout all of this is that there has to be something you are doing with your cards. And this is what is missed in this document. And this is a small part of clearly what was a larger presentation. This is at the bottom right, you can see this is page 10. But I just want to make something very clear. And if anyone at Pokemon sees this video, I can tell you right now, you want to make collecting better. You want to get people to log in, of course, to your game. You want to get existing users to not feel burnt out. But there is a huge solution to all of this, and it's not just making getting cards easier. That is not the biggest thing that you need to be doing when you are trying to retain players. What you need to retain players are more things to do inside the game. It is not that players aren't getting cards fast enough, which it could be, by the way, but it is that players don't have enough to do once they do or even don't yet get their cards. What I mean by that is when you log in for a new pack, we've got a day or two, and then the new ranked season starts, and then it takes a little while, and you grind up to it. You make like kind of a few of the new exciting meta decks. You hit Master Rank or Ultra or whatever you plan on hitting for that season, and then you are done with the game because the game doesn't have anything else going on. It doesn't have a competitive tournament scene. It doesn't have in-game tournaments or events. It doesn't have a special week where this entire week you're only building decks from the new set and you're competing on a special, fun ladder where you're seeing if you could get, you climb up it a little bit on this like individual thing and you get a specific cosmetic reward. And they don't have a special mode where you open 10 packs and then you build a deck at random or not at random, excuse me. You build a deck and then you go face your opponents. Like, I played other digital card games and other digital games in general. Lots of games are digital, Jake. And you will find that these games live and die not by how easy it is to collect the cards necessarily, but how important or impactful it feels once you collect the cards because you get to do fill in the blank. You get to do the new event. You get to participate in the ranked system in a different way. You get to check out the brand new version of this thing where, oh my gosh, Space-Time Smackdown isn't part of this like rotation of cards right now. There's all this new content, all these new exciting things to talk about. Oh, if you haven't been here for a while, this is a great time to play the game. Oh, you didn't collect this from Shining Revelry? Well, that's okay because this is focused on whatever new thing is going on. All of this is great. It is great to want to focus on the cough, which is you have players that want to collect more cards and existing users are not logging in as often, probably because they're burnt out. But also, in my opinion, the big thing that happens with a lot of this, it's not just that players are burnt out because too many packs are coming out and they can't collect the cards they want. It's because even when they collect the cards they want, players are not having enough to do. There just isn't enough to do in the game. There's logging in, there's playing the solo battles, there's grinding that, you're getting your promo cards, there's building out a couple decks you like, and then you grind ranked for a little bit. You play a few ranked games, you win some, you lose some, you hit whatever rank you decide to hit. Outside of the super sweaty players that are trying to grind for like top 100, top 1,000, most players will hit Ultra something, Master, and then they'll stop playing the game because there just isn't anything new going on in the game. There isn't anything like the meta gets solved pretty fast, which could be changed by having interesting updates and interesting events and things like that. But it's not as much, in my opinion, about treating the symptom here, which is people are logging in less because they're finding it hard to complete packs. Or complete sets. That's true. However, you have to dig deeper. You have to go towards the why. Why do people want to complete the set? It's not just to have the pretty art. That's part of it, by the way, because the art's amazing in this game. It's truly, like, the first time I saw it, I was blown away, especially the immersive. For the first time, I was at Worlds, and they had this big demo, and you swipe the pack, and then it takes you in the immersive, that OG immersive Pikachu from Genetic Apex. I realized this was going to be a big thing from that collecting aspect. But now, this is a game that people want to play. You need to find a way to keep them playing the game, not just collecting. That's my take. But I want to hear what you all think in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Sorry I don't have my cam on. I'm in a different setup right here. Love you guys. I'll see y'all next time. I think the future for Pocket could be very bright, especially if they not only focus on collection, getting people to get sets, but also giving you something to do with all the cards you collected. More things to do. Love you. Bye. We did it.